what do you think about like with mental health, like the medication, like with them medicating people, like putting them on antidepressants and things like that to help them with like different things?
I mean,
Why are you trying to kill me?
yo, I'm gonna get canceled, but anyway, what I gotta say is,
We're gonna blur out their faces just for
Actually, my mask on.
Welcome to All That Jazz podcast. I'm your host, Jazz, and today we are doing a very first time, well, I guess it would be like the first time ever on All That Jazz podcast, where we have our pajamas on. We're doing like slumber party edition, where we're comfortable, where we get to just have our girl talk and just, I was like, we were talking about some good topics. And I was like, this is perfect for let's get on camera. So this is very spontaneous, so yeah, we just don't see where this conversation goes. First and foremost, I would like to welcome the two special guests that I have. And for privacy purposes, they will remain nameless.
no. That was funny.
Okay, but they won't remain nameless, but there was some NDA signed, so there are certain things that cannot be discussed,
Say that.
Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying that, so that you
niggas, Danielle, Las Vegas local entrepreneur, okay, and boss lady, nail boss, okay, boom.
Period.
And
it's Sarai.
And you're also an entrepreneur.
Yes, period.
Yes. So let's talk about you guys' claim to fame. Like, what was the rise up of this, like, dang near mogul? Like, let's talk about it, because you literally came from nothing to something.
No, out the mud.
Corporate world. I mean, that I'm not really formally educated. I didn't go to college. I went to nail school.
Yeah.
I found things out later in life. Thought I wanted to climb the corporate ladder, into that whole thing, but that didn't work for me. So I'm too unruly. But yeah, I found my passion in the arts. So I consider myself an artist, really, that gets to run a business.
So you have your own nail shop?
I do. My first little baby, 1.0. Working on 2.0 in the works right now. And
you have your own shop as well, doing lashes?
Yeah.
Okay. So what does entrepreneurship look like for you guys? Is it different
Stressful.
than being in a regular 9-to-5
Yes,
job?
it's the hardest thing, literally the hardest thing I've ever done.
It's nice, the freedom, but other than that, it's a lot of work.
So is it worth it?
Yeah.
I say it's a personal preference.
True.
Again, it's in my situation, it's a little bit easier. Obviously, being older and having some corporate experience. I would say for me, yes, it worked. But for some people, especially when it comes to discipline, again, I think really people see everyone at the finish line and say, oh yeah, like I want to be an entrepreneur, but it's everything in between, it's taking care of the finances, it's the taxes. No one ever tells you about the taxes, and every single thing, even when you run a business successfully, people depend on you. So for some people that works. There are also people who do well under structure, and working, 9-to-5 is not a problem. I would just say with that, make sure it's a career, that you can actually take care of yourself. A career worthwhile. You should still find some enjoyment in what you do.
So do you feel like it's harder to, or would you say it takes a lot of like drive to actually stay focused? Because I know like at a work setting, you're assigned, and I'm actually like building up another business now with my husband and another business partner, a friend of mine. And we were having this conversation about when with businesses, you set your own schedule. So like, if you don't have that drive and you're not getting up and you're not making it happen, it won't happen.
Absolutely.
So would you say that that's like harder versus like in a 9-to-5, they say, this is your schedule, this is what you need to do, and then you completed your task. Is it like, do you think it takes a certain amount of drive to actually say, I'm going to get this done and make these things happen?
Yeah,
self-discipline.
Yeah, I was gonna say the drive is not the right word because sometimes I'm not driven. It's really just discipline.
That's so true.
It really, because discipline is literally doing it when you don't want to.
That's
I
so
mean,
true.
and like I said, for me, I literally breathe, eat, sleep my business.
Yeah.
You know, even really being here for us, it's relaxation, but I have work on the mind. And that's what I'm saying. Like for some people, you know, it works. I'm also, you know, a little bit older. Like I said, I've had corporate experience. That route didn't work for me. You have to choose your heart.
Yeah.
For some people, clocking in and being under the burden of having to perform, asking for time off, and really, like I said, unless it's a career, lawyer, doctor, you know, things of like that require continuing education, you know, climbing the corporate ladder is hard. So
yeah,
going to work, you know, missing holidays, same thing, you know, like I said, seniority, begging for time off. I worked in a hotel for a whole year before I had a permanent shift. So that to me, that was hard.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's definitely you go from working 9 to 5 to 365, but you know, it's in a fun way. I really feel aligned and I enjoy what I do. So the things that come with it, although sometimes I find them annoying, I still find some pleasure in doing them. You know, working on my marketing, taking your pictures, editing your pictures, even sometimes cleaning the shop is very therapeutic.
Yeah.
You know, so
what about like the first day of opening? Like, what was that feeling like for you guys? Because you guys worked so hard to get to that point. So what was that feeling like? Did it feel like in that moment, like, wow, you know, hard work really pays off? or knowing you were like, oh, what am I gonna do next? What's the next building?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like keep forward movement. Like this, I checked this off. Now it's time to start working on the next accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean, again, we have a great partnership, so it was also easy to do with someone that was supportive, you know, but I feel like that all matters. And yeah, and in a way, and even myself, I have a hard time staying in the present, you know, not just about material things, but to be able to give back, to put my family on. So you are kind of always running on the next thing, you know, so, and it's been good, you know, to know that we can do it. We did do it. We did everything the right way. But, you know, like I said, now it's time for the level up. You know, now I know that we can do this. We're going to streamline some things, you know, but that only comes with doing it, executing.
So during you guys' process of like getting things established as a shop, let's talk about the haters. Was there anybody that was like hating on you guys during this process or making it seem like it was just unattainable or trying to like get you shut down?
Literally,
Yeah.
family.
Mom's definitely my number one supporter. So not her, but yeah, some of the
extended family definitely they doubts like before we even got started.
You know, it's so crazy. They say that it's usually your family or your you know the people closest to you that really don't support you.
That's true.
And it's just like the strangers,
or they think that they should get it for free.
Yeah. Or like
or when things change, you know, again, it's different when you're working at the house and you're building up your clientele and you know,
you don't have the same time.
Yeah. And I think too, even with friends and family around you, sometimes that until you do it, people don't understand.
That's true.
That it really like it's not necessarily that I want to be away all the time or miss things or that I think I'm so good, but literally like I own a job that I have to produce to get paid. So it's like also
when I'm not doing anything, I'm not getting paid.
Yeah, exactly. So even though we're being here on vacation, I've already worked for this time. And also every day we're not in the shop, technically we're in the hole. We pay rent for every day that we're there. So, you know, yes, that literally it takes everything and you do have to create balance, but all of that comes with doing it.
And some sacrifices.
Delayed gratification for sure.
Yeah. And I will say, like, from knowing you personally, and I would say, like, when people say things and just throughout my life, like, you know, you hear a lot of people talk and they say that what they're going to do. And then a lot of times, unfortunately, like you don't see the execution on that. And even sometimes I have to stop and tell you like, hey, like, do you realize like everything you said you were going to do, you did it? Like and we were coworkers at one point, right? In the office working together.
Yeah.
And that dynamic where you were just like, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm about to go to school to do nails and and I'm just so, and now it's like you did that. Like just imagine you still at the office saying that. Like one day I'm gonna get out of here. But it's just like no, because there's people like that.
Yeah.
Like 15 years they've been on the same job. They're like, I hate it. I just gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
So it's like for you to have said those things and then everything that you said you're gonna do, you actually did it.
Yeah. I mean, yes, when you put things into perspective, that's what I talk about being in the present. Like, you're absolutely right. Right now, I'm just in the fine tuning.
Right.
Also just not to for myself, but definitely to, I guess, pay it forward. Like I said, I learned a little bit later in life about what was important to me, and I want to give back what I've learned through some trial and error, and I had people that helped me. So I don't consider myself like a teacher or like any of that, but if I can build something for people that have look and feel like go through things like me, some of them just want to be great nail artists, some people want to own their own shops, and I want to also give them the knowledge that comes with, hey, this is how you successfully run a business, get money with your business, take care of your business and your personal credit, and build a legacy for your people, your children, your family, so on and so forth. Right. So it's definitely a passion for me. Art is my medium, but
so you get to do what you love.
Yes, definitely do what I love.
And Sarai, for you, like you're actually extremely young. What do you think made you stay so focused on like because you had to go to school as well, right? Like you had to go to school.
Right after I graduated, when I moved out here, the pandemic started like the same time I was supposed to start school.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up like starting just a little bit later, doing a little bit online and in person, and then got my license, and then next we got the shop and just started going from there, literally just winging it since then.
So do you feel like, to make it a little more personal, do you feel like being an entrepreneur, do you feel like it impacts your like personal life? Like do you feel like that it makes a difference, like that you guys are, do you feel like you're always focused on career? Do you feel like you still do make time for, like family, friends, maybe like dating life, that type of thing?
I think I make time. I think I'm learning to have better balance, but I feel like I'm always thinking about work and wanting to work. That's just the only thing. But I love what I do, so it's like fun, but I don't know. I always think about work. But I'm learning to like have good balance and like healthy balance and learn how to like actually relax when I need to relax and work when I need to work.
Y'all have something y'all would want to say to like maybe women out there that are working in a 9-to-5 and they're not working for themselves and they feel like they just can't do it, or it's, whatever, like what would be your advice to them?
Don't wing it. I would say like have like a legit like business plan and like plan like because I've seen people that like they work their job, they kind of try to build their clientele or whatever it is they may be doing, and then once it's like I can't balance both of them, like you got to get rid of one. Usually your 9-to-5, but I feel like you should have like a really good business plan before you jump into anything and kind of try to be like,
was there a time before you guys actually opened the shop that you were like, I'm going to, this just isn't working. I just got to keep my 9-to-5, or was there at any time that where you guys had like some doubt that you guys had to like push forward through that, or
just
was
last week, girl?
No.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, yes. Because also I had already being older, I had already created, established a life for myself. So I already had rent, I already had car note, car insurance, luxury things that I'm paying for that, yes, you have to be able to, maintain.
Yeah, the bills don't stop.
The bills don't stop. And that's the thing with what she's saying, definitely I should have been clearer about what I expected, what I wanted, and even really, I don't know, people like to tussle, but really charging your worth. And I'm not talking about, especially in the beauty industry, overcharging nickel and diamond people, but I'm talking about really paying yourself for your labor, your expertise, your taxes. And yes, we pay 2 rents. So this is not a joke or like a hobby. This is a a career in which, yes, I expect to have a livable wage.
Absolutely.
You know,
that's
so,
fair.
but in the beginning, when you're scared and you meet clients, because no one skips the hard work. You know, everyone thinks, oh, I'm going to be viral. Yeah, and even with being viral, I've had a couple things go up on TikTok and on Instagram that people are here today and gone tomorrow.
It's
You
so
know?
true.
So definitely, yes, you need to have a very clear, detailed, well-executed plan. But when I go back and think of how I felt at my job, being overworked and already underpaid, it just, you know, to me, like I just gotta dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
So especially when you look at your expenditures and what is really a necessity for me, you know, and what can I go without as a business owner too, you know, and really also to stop trying to pull people along because they will also drain you. So and cost you, hit your pockets.
So what do you guys think are like really good leadership qualities that are required like as an entrepreneur?
Well, like I said, discipline, time management.
Yeah, time management, discipline.
Definitely time management again. But also someone, I personally feel like I said, for me, transitioning from a corporate career, or really anyone starting from nothing, like somebody that's really like been down in the trenches, you know, before building their stuff. I mean, you know, I started on a little table at my mom's. So I'm talking about somebody that's, you know, built something from, their bedroom, you know, or their shared space, or been, you know, we all go through that travel tech period. Someone that knows, because I feel like when you get to the top, you know, again, we forget what it was like when we were hungry for clients, or when we were charging, you know, trying to have deals and specials on things because we wanted the attention. I look back at my work to even, you know, for myself now, like, wow, remember when I wanted my nails to look this good?
Yeah.
You know, and then you get there and it's like, wow, I'd never forget, you know, never forget. That's why I keep that bag of nails to look at my old sets, just to keep me hungry, motivated.
Right.
So I definitely feel like you need someone that's self-made, I guess is the short answer.
So a question I have is, you guys are obviously thriving right now with your business and growing, and you guys both love, you women both love what you do. So what does it look like if a man were to come into your life and tell you that he doesn't want you to keep pursuing your career and he would rather you like stay at home, and you know, he would want you to do like more of a family thing, like maybe just be like a housewife and have
you could
children.
pursue another woman.
What would you are you guys open to that? Or you said what? Wait,
I said you could pursue another woman.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So you guys are not gonna put your careers.
No, because it's like we could still be in a relationship, whatever, and I still gotta have my own thing though. I feel like I can't
my career allows me to have those freedoms.
Yeah.
For me, yes, if I choose to be a mother, to have my kid with me, or
maybe do it more leisurely, like if that's what you like. So you know, maybe not work as much.
You would cut back. Now I have a question.
You got to be taking care of me, you know. Like
I was gonna ask that. I was gonna say that.
Like,
if you gave the pushback on like not stopping the career, are you guys, would the expectation still be that they still pay all of the primary bills and things, but if you stop your career or if you keep doing your career?
I'm just trying to figure out, why would I be stopping my career?
If they, you know, if
they came to me, I already have this. That would be almost offensive, like for you to ask me to stop what I built.
Well, they want you to like be at home, and then they maybe have some children.
No, that's a deal breaker. Because again, that's one thing about dating people in any industry that they're passionate about, is like hard work understands hard work. So when I'm going through my marketing campaign, or like, you know, I'm trying to figure out how to do this, or my taxes, or this, like having another entrepreneur that understands, like, yeah, or like when I don't have time for that, like, you know, literally, again, I'm working back to back to back to back, like, you know, these clients are acting up, or, you know, taxes, like I keep saying, like they get that. So it has to be somebody that's willing to still support you guys' career. I'm assuming that would be something that would have attracted us in the first place. Right. But you did say that you would be willing to do it more leisurely, but still.
You gotta take care of me still.
Yeah.
Because you gotta match what I was already doing. Like if you want me to work less, Like I would work less. Of course, who doesn't want to work less?
Working less,
But
is
like,
okay.
I would
Being
not
up-
stop.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, now if you don't stop and you're still like making good money from it, do you feel like as women that like you should have to pay bills too, like for the household?
Yeah.
If you're still like a career, if you still have the career and you're still making good money, like do you feel like
I feel
you
like I
should
would
be
use my money
paying
for like the leisurely things, traveling and la di da.
for the both of you guys or just for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, like the have to. Again, I'm assuming I'm dating another boss. So
Yeah.
like I don't expect him to come in like the household bills. Yes, I would still be paying for my salon, my taxes, and my
Oh
things
yeah,
out
I
of
would
my
like
business.
my own
I
stuff.
don't plan on being behind the chair forever, so I expect to build like a salon that runs
Mhm.
full functioning. I come in, I take care of this like salon manager, and I go, not physically doing the labor, maybe making more money on the educational side or the content side. So yeah, that, but yes, household. I mean, obviously, I'm dating a boss. You came to me as a boss because I couldn't see myself dating someone who was an entrepreneur.
Right.
That did not work for me, because again, especially, just I'm not that kind of clingy person all the time anyway.
Right. So you're okay with like them running their business, you running your
Yes,
business.
perfect.
But
we can even do like a little something together, like joints.
I was gonna say, would you guys be okay with paying, or would you girls, would you women be okay with paying 50-50
in the household?
Yeah.
No.
Why?
Is this my husband?
Boyfriend, husband?
I don't
feel like
mind
it depends on
contributing
the
to the household at
situation.
all.
Only
It's not
because
like-
you're not at home, like you're out working. So where does your money go?
So back reinvested into my business.
So that's what I'm saying.
how
So
I-
his
that's
money,
how I become rich.
so his money is the family's money, and then your money is just yours.
I like how the no, I don't want to say this wrong. We get
Again,
my first
it's a little bit different for me too because I'm older. So like, how it would be for me now is like I already have someone that's established. I'm also established. So things that we would be doing moving forward would probably be yes, more joints. But I guess for me too, even it would be sort of like business first. I don't mind contributing to the household. No, absolutely not. I guess it depends too who is the breadwinner,
What if you guys make equal amounts?
Yeah, then I feel again let me walk this thing back. Okay. For me, yes, I don't feel like again, household, I have no problem contributing. Obviously, I also like to do things. So I'm like, my thing is like, yeah, I take care of this salon, I take care of myself, obviously. I also like to travel. So I'm like, okay, let's book a family trip. Like, obviously, I can take care of that. I like
you would pay for
that's
the
what I
entire
mean.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like your money, yes, for the
I would
house and
pay
for the
if I wanted a
mandatory.
particular type of car. Like I have no problem paying my own car note, but yeah, I would assume like the home base.
You got it.
Yeah, but also tell me about business. So like, if you really want to do a domestic partnership, and then like, yeah, so also because we can go about business too.
Right.
So that makes sense to me as well as an entrepreneur. Like that does not offend me if a person wants to come to me. Okay, I don't want to come in with my finances. I totally get that.
And so you had mentioned like not being willing to date somebody that's not an entrepreneur. I don't want to keep saying you guys. How do you both?
Yeah, nobody cares.
I do. It's my own personal thing. How do you both feel about dating somebody that does work a 9-to-5, that they still have the qualities that a good man would possess, but they just don't, they don't have their own business?
I feel like that's fine as long as you're happy with what you do and stuff. Like that's okay.
Now, what about like a man making less than you? Would you guys feel comfortable with that?
How much less are we talking?
Maybe he makes like 30,000 a year.
Okay. Again, realistically, in being at Las Vegas, cost of living, like that can't get you by. So I would assume at 30,000, there's nothing wrong with that, but dating would not be your priority, much less, dating, me.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
So what about, so instead of like a number, if they make just less than you though, that's fine.
Yeah.
No.
So it's not like, oh, he has to make more than me.
No. And I only say entrepreneur, again, I guess it could be like, a lawyer, a collegiate level. My thing is like I said, I know people that work in like service departments making overtime. I know construction foremen. So like, my whole thing is like, we should also, I do feel like, wholly independently be able to take care of ourselves. Again, more about being equally yoked, before we merge things, especially I think for me having a business before getting married, like I see a lot differently now.
Right.
And again, I have no problem with a man making less than me. Like I said, I will obviously be established myself. But yeah, there are different sort of like provisions, and there is a threshold, of what you expect, because it's different now. And really too, you got to think before your feelings. You got to think logically, and it takes money to work for yourself, to be able to take care of a household. It does take that. So
what do you both, or like maybe three things you guys what are maybe three things that you both three qualities that you want a man to have? No? Sarai, take the lead here.
Oh God.
Three qualities. It's easy.
No, I don't know.
You're kidding. Three qualities that you want a man to have, or that's like important for you.
That is important. I wasn't ready for these.
Okay. We can come back to that. Okay,
Yeah,
let's see. Let's talk about childhood drama.
Oh God, come back. I know, Jesus.
Wow, so many people do have childhood traumas. Do you think that impacts like today's society, like with people dating? Like, does that make it harder for two people to come together, because like a lot of people are still dealing with childhood traumas, or just traumas that they haven't healed from?
I think everybody just needs a little bit of therapy.
What is the like proper therapy? Do you think like if you call a place and then like go to a therapist, like that you could trust them?
I don't mean necessarily, not even if it's like talking to like going to a therapist, but like some type of therapy, some type of something of you, even if it's like some self-therapy, read some good mental health books.
What do
Just
you
something, but
what do you think about like with mental health, like the medication, like with them medicating people, like putting them on antidepressants and things like that to help them with like different things?
I mean,
why are you trying to kill me?
yeah, I'm gonna get canceled, but anyway, what I gotta say is,
we're gonna blur out their faces just for
my mask on.
I think honestly that it's like the easy way out, obviously, for big pharma and all that type of stuff, but like people really, I think, could heal a lot of stuff on their own. They just are too in too deep. We talked about this. Everybody's just in too deep. I'm sorry. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Like,
yeah, I mean, again, especially with medication, I think really with back to the therapy
I feel like
kind of thing.
severe cases of stuff.
Yeah,
it's necessary, but
like in actual therapy, right? You're going to talk to a person. I feel like unless you have a clinically like mentally diagnosed issue, right? Pretty much a therapist is like talk therapy, sort of.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you're going to a therapist, you're already looking or acknowledging that there's something that you need an objective opinion about.
Exactly.
Right. So I don't think anything
maybe
is wrong with
unbiased.
that. Right. Exactly. What you think is unbiased, but think about that. We're all pretty much
biased
people.
Yeah.
Well, think about
but more unbiased to like your like outsiders perspective, I guess, because they've never met you before. They don't know these people you're talking about.
That's true. Like that's the outside perspective, because it's definitely not an unbiased opinion.
Yeah, because like really of course, like everybody has their.
So I do think therapy is actually good, and I do think like I'd say like I look at my grandparents as like my therapists and counselors, like because I do think they can give me, I think they have the wisdom, the spirituality, and the moral compass, and the just those key things to give me some unbiased like advice, or just to listen to me And the thing though, when you think about, like, when I think about going to like a regular therapist, just like out in the world, because you said everyone's biased, which is true. They have some type of bias, like whether they pretend to be neutral, they still feel like some type of way about something. So
I
let's
think
just say,
it has less to do with feelings, but think about we're all a sum of what our parents taught us was acceptable or not. So that's why I say about really any and everything on whatever spectrum is based on perception.
yeah, because this is what my thought. If I was to say, let's say my child was struggling like with feelings, or just like maybe seemed a little sad or whatever they were going through, and I put them in like a therapy, took them to therapy, and they started saying, they feel uncomfortable wearing, dresses because, they rather wear sweats and things. Like, if that doctor would say, well, have you ever thought about maybe you want to be a boy? Like, they also can do the the power of suggestion, and someone that's just confused and maybe they're just a tomboy. Now they've made them think that they should get hormone blockers and things like that. And now they're on antidepressants and they're absolutely.
This is a very extreme case, I see.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, you could get that, like, you're putting, your hand, even like a person that does go to a therapist that is like maybe going through something. I feel like the therapist could actually you would have to know, like, how do you know if you could trust that person with your mind? And what if your mind's in that like susceptible place or that weak place? Like, you have to trust that their bias isn't going to take you off on the deep end.
Well, we know that happens because there have been therapists that obviously have entered into relationships with clients, and therapists that have been fired, and all of those things. I don't think that's every case, but I don't know. I don't personally feel like, again, that type of therapy for my, what doesn't work for me.
Right.
But regardless, people that go to therapy that don't have any issue, it's still a good therapist is going to still make you do the work.
There you go. The self-work.
Yes. And you don't escape that. You're just going through a middleman.
There you go.
Again, if we're going to therapy, let's just say like, oh, I don't know, nothing in my life is going right. I'm just so depressed. I feel like I can't get better. Let me go to a therapist. Right? Unless we are clinically diagnosed with something, whatever the mental illness is. And we'll just say, again, we haven't gotten a definitive diagnosis that requires any medication. So now, okay, we know that that's out. So it's still talking, let's just say, again, to a person that is doing a great job. But still talking to a person to have them tell you that you have to do this work.
Yeah.
Because you never escape that.
Yeah. And I do, now that you said that, I do feel like there's good therapists and things out there like that give, like, even like marriage counseling, they give like couples like different things to work on, like, or activities or something for them to do, like how you saying, like, you can't run away from the self-work. So I do think there are people that out there that do mean well and that are actually helping people, but it's just about like having the discernment or finding the right person, because that it could also be sketchy.
And still wanting to do the work. I mean, we worked with a coworker who I've been going to therapy, I've been in and out of therapy 25 years. Well, that's a problem. Because
I mean,
you're never going to get away from, you having to do the work,
or
you're just switching therapists.
Get away from just that person's nature.
Yeah,
whoa, yeah.
So, again, you have to do the work, and what that means to each person. I feel like, deep down inside, when you're alone and everything, you know what it is, but a lot of us are attached to our feelings, and the feelings reinforce like a lot of thoughts and make us question things that really should not be difficult to make our lives easier.
So I actually recently did I had a conversation, and maybe I'll put some clips in here, where we were talking about whether or not platonic friendships can exist.
Once a boy that said, "Oh yeah, no, that's go to spend the night at your homeboy house." I ain't insecure, and people use that gaslighting term of insecurity to make you feel like, oh, you insecure. Now I'm realistic. If I didn't meet that nigga before, it's no. If I met him before, it's no. It's just you could talk to him on the phone now. You could, we could go to the movies together. But you kicking him by, it's a no for me, just because I don't know what his mindset. We got good actors, there's some people out there that don't want to act, but they're good actors. They can in front of you be like, like, yeah, this my nigga right here, this my road dog, and that's their little, that's their little sex talk probably. When you say my nigga, she get turned up.
Right. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I hate this topic. I think it can. But
Really?
people are just
Definitely. I have
so
guy friends. You
annoying
can
with it.
Yeah.
Yes, like I feel like you can, but people just have like so much like trust issues and this like whole insecurities like crazy that they feel like it can't happen. But you can very well have relationships with the opposite sex that are completely platonic. Granted, I mean, guys, I don't know what is wrong in there, but like, sometimes they just I mean, as a girl, you'll take it as a platonic relationship, but the guys could always have that in the back of their head. But I feel like at the end of the day, you keep it.
Sometimes that comes from the bond that they have, and they don't even necessarily how to execute that bond.
Yeah, like
Not
they've
even
never.
So much that would be a good couple.
It's rare. Yeah, it's rare that they experience real friendship that to where they take it and they miss it.
Cues.
Yes, yeah, and they think it is like feelings or something like that, and then that's where lines can get blurred. But I feel like if homies from the jump.
Yeah, and even if that were to happen, in an appropriate way, like, hey, I feel like there's a way you can talk yourself through that.
Yeah.
Like, this is, not where I want to take this with you.
But I think you can. People just need to stop being so insecure and
weird. Especially I hate it when
or also just be with somebody that you trust.
And there we go.
Because people don't be trusting the people that they're with.
I've had friends from high school, guy friends literally that I've never ever been interested in and couldn't, and I'm not gonna get rid of my guy friend for you when he's never done anything, wrong because you're insecure. So that's not weird to me.
Yeah, because if we're in a relationship, you should trust me enough to know that I'm not gonna step out or act out in any way.
Bringing that friend around.
Unless you're being secret. If you're being secretive with this friend or weird, then it's weird. See, if you're from the jump, like, oh yeah, this is my homie I've known for so long, but whatever, blah blah blah, like, and it's normal, then it's whatever. But as soon as things start being a secret, then it's wrong.
I think it's a little unfair to say that if if a man is uncomfortable with that, that just means he's insecure. Because 9 times out of 10, if a guy was interested in a girl, like, and he just got friend zoned, let's say if you meet someone, they may, and this often happens really with women. And I'm going to say from personal experience, you do think that someone is just your friend and that they don't look at you like that. There's never been nothing. But you don't like it. If the man is attracted to you and he's just your friend, that doesn't mean he won't ever do nothing with you. And if you get with a man, right, that is like very masculine, he wouldn't want his woman spending, large quantity, like a large amount of time with quality time with another man, like giving that your feminine energy to that.
The thing is, if my friend wants to hang out, you're either gonna, like, again, I have no problem bringing my friend around my man and my man around my friend.
Yeah.
And it would be weird for me. Okay, I'm gonna go off with my guy friend here and him not feel away. I'm not saying that makes you insecure, but even if you have to sort of like, because I've had a situation where I had a guy friend and my man, he would come, but he was a little too extra for him, and he was sort of like he was like the clown, like kind of funny dude. Like sometimes he would just do too much, but he also knew that this was my friend. So sometimes, I mean, it wouldn't be often, but if we're gonna go hang out or hey, we're going, to have some drinks or it's somebody's mutual friend's birthday dinner, then he goes and it's cordial. So as long as you can get along like that, yeah, that's fine. And sometimes in relationships, you outgrow certain friends.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, when I was younger, I had a lot of guy friends, but of course, I now, as like more mature, I would say I'm pretty sure all of them would have if they would have had the opportunity.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I feel like you should trust yourself if you're in that like committed relationship, not to act on that, and then also like them too to not like make it clear to them so they don't have any like thing to be like, oh well, I thought you was feeling me or something like that. No, like always keep it friendly, because then that's like, because I feel like if you kind of know like your homie or whatever might try to be doing something and you have somebody, like I would just probably just stop talking to you, like it's whatever. But I feel like
also I expect you to respect
exactly.
So and again, even if I feel like there was like an attraction or something, there is a way to respectfully like, hey, this is how I feel about you. And obviously if I'm in a relationship, like that's not gonna work. So there is an easy way to let them down, and some people's boundary is, hey, I just can't be your friend. And then that's the end of the seat, sometimes it's season. But I do feel in the long term, yes, you can be in a platonic relationship with the opposite sex and it not be anything other than a friendship.
For you, but you don't know what it would be for the man. You could only speak for your part.
Of course, I could only call it an operation of my own mind.
I was gonna say, I do think a lot for women, it is that. Like we literally genuinely enjoy the friendship and things like that, and we don't maybe look at that person like that. But men don't usually take an interest in wanting to just be friend with a woman that they think is just like busted. Like there's some attraction there that even would make them desire to be their friend or to.
And then maybe it's a bit of a mother wound for them. You know, like I said, I've had guys that literally have been guy friends, and it's just like, oh, like, you know, they may have a, you know, sort of see that in you. And that's why I'm saying sometimes I feel like it's misplaced feelings, not always necessarily attraction, you know, or maybe it is, but it's because like, you know, their mom was shit, or, you know, their mom never listened, and their, you know, I've had some religious moms too. Like my mom never asked me what my dreams were, you know, my mom wanted me, I had to go play sports for my mom, or I got to retire my mom, you know, but then when he talked to me and I'm asking, okay, but what are your dreams? What about yourself? Like, well, I've never had anybody ask me that. So sure, you know what I mean? But that also doesn't mean it has to be, like I said, it doesn't have to be weird. And it doesn't have to mean that any boundaries have to be crossed. And even if you felt that way, I'm sure that there have been, but it's also up to you to check yourself.
So it is, like you said, it is boundaries. Because even earlier when you were saying, you were like, if we go to a party and he happens to be there or whatever, we're hanging out, but you're saying it wouldn't even be all the time. Do you feel like it would be extras if either a guy you were dating or if yourself was hanging out with your guy friend, like on a every other day basis, like going out for drinks, being with each other for hours at a time? Like,
that's a single man activity.
Right. So the relationship
naturally my friend would understand, obviously I have a man now.
Right.
So I'm going to obviously be spending more time with my man now.
Yeah.
Just like if you got into a relationship, I would expect, oh, you know, and it's sort of like a jokey joke, you know, like, oh, you got your girl, ain't got no time for me. But again, I want you to feel comfortable, her to feel comfortable, because I'm really your friend. So, hey, we can either go on double date or bring her to dinner or whatever it is, you know, and we move on. But I definitely have had and have friends that are in the friend zone and there's nothing else. Not even things that they've expressed to me. So if they ever felt away, I never knew.
And you both wouldn't be willing to give up those friends if your man was uncomfortable with it?
No, because why would my man be uncomfortable when you know about you?
Yeah.
And again, we can do this together. I understand if you don't want us to have alone time. I don't think it's appropriate that me and my bestie are not going out to dinner and I have a man. So we can both come, or hey, come to the house. We'll, you know, we'll have a taco night at the house. Come to the house where my man is. Or you also bring someone, we can do a double date.
Well, that's a big boundary you're setting though, because you're saying, which, you know, and it's like, even though you're saying like, I know I would never take it there, you're still like setting up to make it as comfortable as possible. Because say, I'm not going to go now by myself. No. So now either we'll come because or you can come by where my man.
Friend with his long time girlfriend.
And that's what I think that's what I'm saying. So I was like,
again, you're your long-term friend and we all can go out. Or she can come over and now we can keep. But like, no.
Yeah.
Because I would expect the same. I wouldn't be going out to, you know, dinner with my homeboy, even though we are just never crossing lines, because I would assume my man would not be comfortable with me going on a date with my friend.
Well, then I think your answer is like you're willing to make the adjustments to make your man feel comfortable. You're just saying, I'm not about to
me with this again, for me to cut the friend, why am I cutting the friend? Not simply because you came along. If they're friends doing something behind my back, or you know something, you got some receipts, like, oh, this person is really not about you.
What if he's like, the receipt is when he was over here, I kept seeing him staring at your whoop de whoop, or he was.
Well, how is he seeing that? Because I'm in the room.
No, if y'all all hanging out together and he's like, I could tell, like, I'm a dude and I'm a man and I can tell, like,
no, that's not.
Trust my judgment. I can tell this dude likes you, and he would if he could have the chance.
No.
So you wouldn't trust your man's judgment?
I trust his judgment, but again, that's not really about.
And that's just what if. That's like insecurity, just projecting your insecurities.
Evidence.
Like, what if he had
the evidence would be trusting his judgment. Like if you're like, okay, for instance, like if you, or I don't know if you guys even believe in like leadership roles in a relationship, but if like you trust your man to lead, you would trust he wouldn't just like, you know, like some men are just some jealous men and they're going to say your homegirls, all of them are horrible. And they just try to isolate you and they could be used in an abusive way. But if you're with someone that you actually trust, you would trust their leadership. And you're like, you know what, maybe my man sees something I don't see. but you're saying you wouldn't trust that without like hard evidence, like he'd have
I
to.
feel like my discernment is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, and I feel like we would just have to have an understanding. And like I said, I definitely think new boundaries are established. Really, to me, it wouldn't be too much of a discussion because I don't, again, getting into a long-term like relationship, yeah, I'm gonna want to be around my man anyway.
Does it change if like your man does have a female friend and they slept together a long time ago?
Yes.
Does
Any penetration,
Like, why are we?
or
no, because they're like, we tried it out and it never worked and we've been friends.
That's how
you end up in brown sugar and all that. Listen, appreciate you, baby, but no. You've had a taste. Like,
no, but I mean, it's like it was trash.
No,
I didn't, she has a boyfriend now.
No. Yeah, if it's anyone you've had any sexual relation with, it's already hard enough when you're dating a man with children. So you have constant reminders, and then the healthy co-parenting, and even that these days is. But anyways, yeah, that's that for me. I couldn't do it.
Speaking of healthy parenting, do you guys believe in poly?
Poly gonna get your ass beat.
No. Okay. So I'm gonna say heterosexual. So what is it? Monogamous. So monogamous relationships.
I mean,
for me personally, if I'm in a relationship, it's me and you. If anything happens and you step out of the relationship, now it's just me, myself, and I. And that's that. No, you got a girlfriend, I got a boyfriend.
Being a little bit older, I feel like, I don't know. I don't guess I really consider it poly, but more of like an open relationship sort of thing. For instance, we'll just take like, let's say you're dating like a ball player, right? Like you have to know, even some of y'all faves out here, like literally have non-disclosures on secret families. They have a whole nother situation in a whole nother state. And my thing is like, hey, it's whatever your bottom line is. Now I do feel like, again, I got my whole house. I met my man here in Miami. He got something out in LA where we're never, ever, ever gonna kind of cross. I'm taken care of, because nowadays you're a regular monogamous guy who do stuff behind your back. Not to generalize, not all.
Right.
I haven't had that, but if there's more like, hey, we have an understanding out, and you tell from the beginning, because that's the thing, is like everyone's always so player, but you really be in a whole relationship just lying. That's not really player. So you being upfront, hey, I am, this is my wife and kids, and I'm gonna put you up, take care of business over here, and this is she gonna do wife duties, or this is you're all, whatever, however the arrangement is for you. I do think it can be done successfully.
Yeah, that's definitely more respected.
Yeah, because again,
I feel like in those types of situations, if you're upfront and honest, there's like no issue, and if that works for you, it works for you.
Yeah, perfect. And who am I to judge?
Yeah, because then like when it comes to cheating, it's like you didn't give me the option, or But I think you had a good point to say. I think you had a good point to say if it is. Sorry. I think you had a good point to say if it's like if you're dealing with a ball player or something like that, or a celebrity,
or whoever
let it be expected to know, like, you're gonna put up with some other people, other women that are gonna be involved in the situation.
Again, and I'm not saying it's sort of, obviously the day and culture that we're in, and things are much more different, but a lot of my friends, girlfriends, and successful, everything like is up to par, and have been cheated on. And even in those who have made it through their relationships and have stayed or worked it out or whatever, but like it happens with regular everyday people.
Yeah.
So, again, open and honest. I personally, yes, like a monogamous relationship, me and my man. But I'd rather be open and honest, and sometimes that includes, yes, not having access to me. Maybe like, hey, I really, really tried to make it work. I already had the baby mama situation. Like, that's where you feel like you need to be. But I also want to be with you too. For me, that's a no. But I appreciate you being upfront and honest and giving me the option rather than telling me the lie. We're not together. We just co-parent for the kids, and it's some extra. And again, I know that healthy co-parenting can happen. I know that there are people that the relationships are done.
Barely.
But let's be barely.
Not barely.
Barely. So, but we
Yeah.
tend to know more times than not what the situation is,
Yeah.
right?
Unfortunately, that's true.
Unfortunately, it's true. So,
yeah, they say, when you have a child together, you usually could always double back and,
and really, I mean, especially these days, like at the end of the day, who doesn't want to be with their family?
that's true.
But when you run it back, a lot of times, if you think about, and this is just me again being on the outside, really in the beginning, should you have even been with that person to begin with? Because it's a reason why it keeps not working.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the only thing. And it does look real unstable to your kids when y'all keep getting together and not together versus just having a healthy co-parenting relationship. And that's where it comes that having those boundaries and discipline.
Yeah, and not rushing into something before you actually get to know that person and have children with them and things
or
like
if you really are going to try, like, again, what were the things that didn't work before and what's changed now? But a lot of times that's not the case. It's not the case. But, to each their own.
Yeah. So do you feel like today's society, like way more men are like more feminine than maybe they were 10 years ago?
I think when you use feminine, like not like girly, but like don't do
the manly thing.
Yeah,
like
change
don't know how to change a
tires
tire.
or-
Don't know how to change a tire.
Yeah.
Do you think that impacts like women being willing to be or coming to a relationship more submissive and soft?
Yeah, of course, this is all perspective wise, but if we're gonna go by, again, treading lightly now these days, but with typical, yes, gender roles or whatever you want to call them, we already know this goes back to a lengthy history of how things have been broken down for us. So yes, these are.
So let's talk about whether or not women get fulfillment from having children and having, I guess that when I say children, it's like I almost want to couple that with a husband and children, because I don't want to like just promote being a single mother. So I'm going to say just promoting family in general, but some people can get married and not have children. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think people can have a fine life, whether they're single, whether they're married, or whether they're married with children or single with children? Do you think children bring women fulfillment?
Some. I think there's some girls that like do like strive and want to be a mom and want like that's like they feel like their purpose in life. But I think some people don't, and that's okay too. Because the world's overpopulated. Unpopular opinion. Cancel me if you want. But there's way too many people here anyway, so I don't even think we need to keep reproducing. And the state of the earth, global warming.
Cut. Okay. So are you going to have children?
No.
You don't seem really sure. I'm just going to keep it real with you.
Like, it's a loaded question.
It is because
I'm going to go ahead right here. When I do this, I'm going to insert in the picture of her baby right there.
You're crazy. Don't ever. It's going to be Lola, my dog.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as of right now, you don't think you're going to have children?
Yeah, I just can't picture that.
You can't picture that. But you're very young. I didn't want children before I had children, by the way. I didn't. I looked at a girl crossing the street. It's so vain. And she had stretch marks on her stomach. And I was like, ugh, like, is that like what having children does? I would never have children then. I don't want stretch marks. And, stretch marks later and children later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if you really decide you don't want children, then you don't have children, because that's not difficult to not have children.
Yeah. And I feel like even when I think about it and like the cute parts of it, it's like, oh, it's cute. But then again, it's also like, it's just a lot of responsibility. I just can't imagine having that. Like,
but you love children.
I love children.
Yes. So you love being the auntie. You love being the auntie. You love being a part of the village.
I used to babysit all the time, and I love kids, but it's tiring, and I couldn't imagine having to have them full time.
I'm done with that.
Exactly.
And
you can go back to your parents.
Again, it's a personal choice. I also think for women, you have to pick partners that, if you have a partner that absolutely doesn't want kids, or vice versa, that's either got to be a deal breaker. because I think a lot of people enter things thinking, oh, I'm going to change my partner's mind, or
Mhm.
once I get pregnant, this will make things better. And I, again, you know, I love kids as well, but I have seen a lot of relationships when that kid comes, the relationship tanks, you know, and that's not everyone. But I also feel like sometimes we're caught up in that, you know, honeymoon, or that feeling like that's sort of like the next best step. When really, if you stop, like, I don't feel like there's a lot of family planning anymore, you know, just because it's
Mhm.
hard. It is hard to raise children, especially, yes, in this, you know, environment and all the things that are going on.
Yeah.
Especially, I think about too, I'd be raising, you know, a Black child, and I love children, and it's still not, you know, sort of like on the table, but I would say, yeah, up to, you know, today, I love my life. I like
Yeah.
being able to do what I want on a whim.
But you're not against having children. You're just saying
No.
you're finding their way.
Yes, definitely. I
Okay.
don't feel like I would be
So-
incomplete if I didn't have kids.
But you don't feel like you would be so like hurt if you end up having a child. Like you wouldn't hate having the idea of it.
I don't
It's just
see myself having a child unless my partner really wanted a child more than I don't want a kid.
right.
You know what I mean? If I really had a solid partner, you know, again, and not saying that, you know, people leave your life for any reason. So I'm not talking about being, you know, but no one ideally wants to go into, you know, especially rearing a child by yourself. That's a hard job.
That's
you
true.
know, and I have community, you know, I
That's
have
true.
mom and sibling. But I still, you know, wouldn't want to fully depend on them. I just wouldn't want to perpetuate that trauma
Yes.
on another child. So again, for the women that just decide that, oh, I want to be a mom, I think a lot of that too comes from like the people that have been single or go to a, you know, a sperm bank, like looking for that completeness or that like a, you know, like a missing piece, like the love of your life type thing.
Yeah.
More than you really want to being a mom, because being a single mom is hard.
And I know we were talking about this off camera. What I was saying is, I think it's more so like about legacy, right? You know, I think men maybe talk about it more, but even as women, it's just like we're leaving that behind too. Like, you know, these generations of us, like it gets passed on. You know, that's how we live on in a sense. You know, so I think it has a lot to do with that. And I know, and I'm going to show 2 clips. And make sure you send me that, what you showed me earlier.
Oh yeah.
It's one of them. The first one I'll show is the clip of a lady who decided not to have children. And from what she says, she's perfectly happy. She looked good. She looked like she was in good health. She looked really youthful, and she never wanted children. And she's fine. She's traveled. She, you know, says she's stress-free. And then there's another clip I'm going to show that I did see where this guy was talking about when women get to a certain age, like around the one that I'm going to show you in the first clip, that they do, it's lonely because there's no grandchildren, there's no children around.
Woman with a partner who has gone their entire life childless.
I have to respond to this video. Oh my gosh. So I am 55 years old, child-free by choice. I knew at the age of 7 years old that I would never want to have children. And by the grace of God, that decision has never wavered. I also knew that if I ever got to be the old age of in my 50s like I am now, and if I ever wanted kids, I could always adopt, right? So what does it look like for me being child-free by choice at the age of 7, since the age of 7? It has meant a life of complete and total freedom, a life of joy, a life of non-aging, as we can see. There's no filler or Botox in this face. It has meant that I was able to retire from corporate America at the age of 38 years old, to travel the world and live abroad in luxury and style, and I'm still doing that all these years later, all these decades later. I live abroad, I travel, I have businesses, I have money. Oh my gosh, I don't have stress, I don't have worry, I have joy. It's amazing being child-free for me. Now, to all of your friends and family that are telling you that you're gonna somehow be jealous of those that have children and you're gonna have all this regret, don't believe them. What they're telling you is a total lie, and it is a complete and total scam. Trust me, those of us that are child-free by choice have never looked at our friends that have kids and said, oh, I really wish I would have made that choice. No, said none of us ever. In fact, people that are that have children, and God bless you. You guys, parenthood is one of the hardest things you could ever do in life. God bless all parents, Lord knows. But parents look at us that are child free and they channel that as jealousy of us because we have our freedom. So I just call it as it is. Don't hate the player, hate the game. So what I want to say to you is, do you make your own choices, live your own life, and enjoy your peace. And if you're soliciting advice from these people, please don't solicit it. And if they offer it, which people tend to do that have children, why don't you just like go raise your kids and be happy and do you? It's so weird. It's really weird, people. It's weird. If they give that advice, just let them know that you don't need it and you're good. So I hope this helps. Being child free at 55 years old means complete and total joy, more choices. You know, last summer, because Mexico where I live is so hot, I moved to Istanbul, Turkey for the whole summer, had a ball. This summer I'll be in Europe gallivanting around, having a free hot girl summer. So being child free equals freedom. I wish the best to you. And if you decide you want to change it in the future, you can always freeze your eggs now and have kids later by surrogate or what have you. You can always adopt, or you can get a puppy. All right, I hope this helps.
A life without children is vapious, and it's inane, and it's pointless. And you may sit here and think that your career matters, but the truth is that your job will fire you at a whim and don't give a solitary shit.
So true.
And when you're 52 and you're past it with no grandchildren in a house by yourself, and all your friends have grandchildren in this beautiful life, and you're sitting there by yourself, do you think the fact that you can afford a few extra Gucci bags is going to genuinely make you feel happy? I was at my grandmother's 93rd birthday. I looked there. My grandmother had 9 children because there was my father and 8 more. They all had a bunch of kids, blah, blah, blah. I stood there and I looked at my 93-year-old grandmother, and there was a whole room full with maybe 70 people that came from that one woman. Isn't that remarkable?
Yeah.
That nobody cared about her career. Nobody asked what job she did. Nobody asked how many times she went to the club. Nobody asked if she had time to go to festivals. No, you had 70 sentient beings, including myself, full of life from one woman.
And I even know, like, when we were at your mom's house, and she was just like, I just love it when everybody's here. I love it when all my babies are here. My grandson is here. Like, just that house being filled with love, and like all of them are there because they came from.
I would say my only refute to that is, like, I feel like the women who get to that age and feel like, oh, I missed out, it's because either they, like, especially here in the US, we have to choose really your children or career. It is really hard to balance in the corporate world, at least. Because think about that, you have pop a baby out, unless you again have an executive level position where you can afford, again, talking about salary, more time off. Most people at mid-level jobs, are you getting the 3 months and you're back to work? Can't really afford to spend the time that you want. I think it's different than having to give up your, childbearing years, or you spend a lot of time in a bad relationship or with someone who really didn't want kids.
Yeah.
And you tried to change them. So I think that never have I seen a person who knew by a certain age, like, I don't want to have kids. I don't feel like I see the regret in them. I feel like the people who get to that age and be like, doggone, I really missed out, or people
like they missed their mark.
Yes.
Or maybe they had the guy that
or
wanted the children when she was
the
younger.
wrong person or the wrong
Right.
career.
Yeah.
Because
No, that makes sense. If someone's like, I really don't want you, and honestly, there are, like I was saying earlier, there are people that have children that really didn't want children, and they're horrible parents.
Yes.
And they end up really not being a part of their child's life, and they die, and then they never had a close relationship with their children. They didn't want them. And so there's women out here that have children, really don't want them, really don't fulfill that role of really being a mother. And then there are women out here that don't have children and are fine and didn't want children, and they knew that and made that decision. But then there are women out here, like you said, that maybe were just waiting for that right time, or spent time in a wrong relationship and missed their mark, or they were chasing their career and they, and then when they reach that point, they're like, oh, wow, I missed out on it.
Yeah. That would be, because I mean, that's how I feel. Again, it's balance, you got to have a partner. And again, I think about, the whole thing, because there's half of you and half of someone else. So regardless, and then, again, right now I'm living life. So I feel perfectly okay with how things are.
Would you guys be opposed to being with someone that has a child?
Yes. It's a little different for me. I'm older. A lot of guys my age have children already. So yes, but even with that, there is a limit.
There's a limit. We're not talking about 12 children.
Yeah. No. Obviously, again, there's a discipline problem here.
So if you guys so much don't, are not like, at this point in your lives are not really like feeling like you want children, or like it's like something that you feel like you would regret if you didn't have, what do you guys like to do? Is travel something that you guys both enjoy?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That, my pets.
Yeah, and I like still like, taking care of others, not always in a financial sense, but yeah, I do have more time to, like I said, I like the each one teach one kind of thing, whatever capacity that may be. So I like giving my time to, like that. Yes, my animals, yes, traveling, honestly, even just, spending my money how I want, sleeping in, I'm not really a partier, go outer kind of girl, like, but yeah, I'm definitely going to travel. I definitely like to shop, I like to buy myself pretty much whatever I want, whenever I want it.
Where do you guys like want to go? What's like on the list of places you want to visit?
Everywhere. No.
I know, no, I know though, right? It's like, why not?
Definitely for, different reasons. Definitely want to go to Australia. I mean, I definitely want to go to Thailand. Several different places in Mexico. I would love to go to Spain. I would love to even go to Korea. There's a lot of up in like nail trends, Korean nail art. I would love to see that. Yeah, I would like to even get in the glaciers in Iceland,
Yeah.
everywhere. I mean,
I
there's
really
so
do.
much world.
Yeah, I love traveling. And honestly, I am really guilty of this, but like traveling, it's like so much to try, like the foods,
Even if I just travel to eat.
I know, no, when I'm
Even
traveling,
if I
I'm thinking
travel
of
to
like
eat,
all
that
the
is a
food in the different
vacation
places.
for me. I am definitely not one of those people, again, we talked about this earlier, having to have an itinerary and plan to do. And I understand, again, maximizing your experience, but sometimes I just want to go and eat.
You guys are so laid back and so easy to please. And I love that it's like that appreciation to just chill, take a nice walk, get some food. That's all right up my alley. Like when I go somewhere, the first thing I'm looking at
when I get off the
is
plane,
the food.
we've
Let's see
already
what
looked at
it's
some
hitting
re-
for.
some
What is
restaurants before getting
this
there.
place known for? Like what dishes are they known for?
Especially international travel. I'm here to try the local cuisine. That's another thing I hate is when I travel with someone and we're in whatever international island and you're looking for American food.
I can't.
We did not come here
I don't
to
get
eat
that.
pizza and burgers, and also that like the things that we're allowed to eat here versus what's going on in other countries, it never tastes the same. Because I also hate being on vacation with a complainer. I know it tastes nice. It doesn't taste like this. We are
because it actually has taste.
Yes, and they don't allow us to put
MSG,
red dye number, whatever the hell it is, and everything else that was allowed to go on our shit. So I'm like, yeah, and I didn't come here for that. So how can you say you don't like something before you even tried it? Give me some international cuisine, and don't turn this is what other people eat. You don't have to like it, but it's just so one-dimensional. So
yeah, I know.
But yes,
I know.
travel for life for sure. Even if I had a child, I think at this point we probably only be one, but I want to get my kids, traveling young too.
I think that's a very good benefit to a child, to let them
absolutely
see things while they're
really, if I could, I would school them abroad.
You was that's really that really helps them a lot. And even with my husband, like with our daughter, she's been to like throughout the states here in America. She hasn't been out the country yet, but it's like all the places that she said she wanted to go, like he made a point like so far to like check them off the list. And he had a good point to say, like, too, when she gets older and she's like dealing or vetting for her husband, like she doesn't have to have like I've never done anything, I've never traveled, so it's like, oh, I'm gonna take you here, like, oh yeah, I've been there, my father took me there, and I think so I think that like if you do end up having a child and you travel with them, and that would, I think that's so important, just giving them other cultures and letting them see. I mean, the American culture really sucks, so honestly,
especially outside the US. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say honestly, really outside of the United States, to show them.
I thought about that because I think they have like a little fast track passport program where you can spend a couple of years in Puerto Rico, get your residency card, Puerto Puerto Rico is still a territory of Spain. So then you can live in Spain. I think you have to be there 5 years and you can apply for a European passport. But Spain is definitely like architecture, literature, language, cleanliness. I would definitely like,
Would you? So you would live out the country?
absolutely.
What about
I
you?
would go right now if I could.
I want to.
You
Yeah.
do?
I'm not
Mhm.
staying in America for the rest of my life.
Definitely want a retirement. I still even nowadays think it's a good idea to buy property in Mexico. I would buy and live in Mexico right now.
I would marry into the cartel.
Have you seen The Queen of the South?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on this show, and
We spent
I
it
think we had a good time. Just next time there'll be more snacks.
Yes, and I'll be at
We'll have a
least 20
mukbang.
pounds lighter. Probably darker too, because again, we're traveling. So
Yeah.
maybe next time we can link up in Las Vegas.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you liked what you saw, or have some comments, comment down below. Like,
Literally.
subscribe.
Yeah, next time will be a mukbang.
Oh, yes.
ASMR.
A mukbang. We got to eat
We
on.
can easily do that tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Peace.